What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 57 of Reezy Talks. Today, I am blessed to have another amazing guest. All my guests are amazing. That's all I do is bring you guys amazing people to speak with. So today, I have Greg Mercer, the creator of Jungle Scout, which is the most popular private label research tool. But there's a lot more to this story than that. And so let me introduce you to Greg, and we'll just dive into the story. What's up, Greg?
Reezy, what's going on? I am excited to be here. I'm excited to chat with you for the next hour and answer any questions the audience has as well.
Awesome, dude. That's what we're going to do. I'm super hyped. So, do you currently still sell on Amazon, or are you full-time just doing Jungle Scout?
No, I still sell on Amazon as well. So, I started my Amazon business back in 2012. And, at one point I was full-time on it. Long story short, though, I'm still selling on Amazon. I have a small team of like 3 people who run that business or, do the majority of that business for me. But I still have the company. I still work on it probably like 3 to 5 hours per week. And so I've thought about it before, like selling that company so I could focus fully on Jungle Scout, but I actually still really enjoy having that. One, because like it kind of keeps me in the weeds of like what's going on and what's working. And 2, like it's still just fun for me to like just launch new products and like sell, it's still really fun for me to sell stuff on Amazon.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you go through. I don't sell private label, but I know enough people that do that I know it's about launching products, and some don't always work as well, and then some work better than you thought they would. And so I can imagine how excited you get when you find a good product that works well, and then let alone you add more products to that lineup and they work well too. That can be pretty exciting, like into the brand building territory.
Yeah, exactly. You get like that rush when you launch a new product and it starts selling well. And yeah, that's like an amazing feeling.
Yeah, and that's super good point for you as a software company to be able to have your ear to the ground and understand what's going on in the private label industry.
Totally.
So how many products do you currently have at private label right now?
I have a little bit under 200 SKUs. I think we're like 180, 190, something like that.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you could make you could live off of that without even doing Jungle Scout, probably.
Yeah, so I think we did about like 7 million in sales last year. And should do quite a bit better than that this year.
Do
But
you
yeah,
know what your profit margin is on that 7 million?
I think last year it was 23, 24%.
Nice.
So of course, a lot of that money is reinvested back in the business and stuff. So I don't, just have a whatever, lots of material items.
You don't have a DeLorean. You don't have.
I'm not a real like materialistic guy, so I don't even really spend my money on anything. It's just fun for me to like just build businesses.
Right. Yeah. So you like to travel a lot, yeah?
Yeah. So it's actually a cool story. So I used to have a job working as a civil engineer. I quit that job and also talked my wife into quitting her job. And for 3 years, so pretty much all of really up until this past January, so like 3 full years, my wife and I just traveled around the world. So in 3 years, went to like roughly 40 countries. So we usually stayed at a place for about a month and then moved somewhere else. And we worked full time while we did it, but it was like an amazing life experience just to like get to experience all these other parts of the world, spend a good bit of China. So like learned a lot about like manufacturing in Asia, which was really cool. And more than anything, just like just really fun, like life, opening experience to kind of just like learn about all these different cultures.
Yeah, no, I homeschool. So I'm excited this summer. I'm taking my daughter, both my daughters, but my 18-year-old and my 6-year-old to Europe. We're going to go to London.
Cool.
Paris, Amsterdam, and they're just going to learn so much, seeing different stuff, different currency, different language, different foods, just like everything's different. When you said you were working, sorry to interrupt, you said you were working full time, you meant on your Amazon business, yeah?
So let me just give a quick background and then the whole thing probably makes sense.
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, after college, I worked as a civil engineer. That's like what I went to school to become. I didn't like it. Like my whole life I had this strong entrepreneurial spirit, knew I could just do like more than what like corporate America like had to offer me. So essentially like while I was working that job, just as a side hustle, I started to sell stuff on Amazon. I was
How did you get into that?
To be honest, I think it was just like Googling like how to make money online, how to sell something. At that
Wow.
point, I didn't care, man. I just wanted a business, like, so I didn't have to work for the man.
Yeah, no, that's what we all want.
Yeah. So I was able to I was able to scale that business up enough to replace my income as an engineer. And that's when I quit.
Were you
So
doing private label right away, or did you start off with like retail arbitrage?
I was actually purchasing goods from wholesalers, like at wholesale rates, and then reselling on Amazon. And then shortly thereafter, I found out about private labeling and started to import goods from China.
So wholesale was your first foray. You never did retail arbitrage.
I think I like dabbled in it for a little while. And for me, kind of like the hours I was working, like the lifestyle I was trying to live and stuff, it
Right,
didn't seem like the best method for me at the time. So
right.
yeah, I didn't really do too much with it.
So started up wholesale, led to private label.
Yeah, and we're talking about probably just like in the first 3 month period is when I started like private label stuff. Um, and then yeah, I was able to scale up enough to like replace my income. After I quit my job, I started working on just my Amazon business full time. That's shortly thereafter is when my wife and I started to travel full time as well. And yeah, then one thing led to another. I found this need in the market for a product research tool. Like that was the hardest part I had in my business was adding new products and know what products to add like to my lineup. And then shortly thereafter, Jungle Scout, the software was born. So that was kind of like the timeline of yeah, my history from going to college, getting a
So
normal
with
job,
like
full-time Amazon
within
seller.
what, like 1 year of selling on Amazon, you developed a software tool?
Yeah, that's about right.
That's nice. That's very fast moving, dude. That's congrats on that, man. And obviously, I mean, you knew what you needed, right? Because you were still doing private label, so you built the thing for yourself, I would imagine.
When I first built it, I was like, I have no idea if anyone else in the whole world would actually pay money for this. And then, but I was like, like worst case scenario, I really need this tool for myself. So like worst case scenario, I'll just be the only customer. No one else will ever buy this thing. And yeah, and that will be fine. Like it was still like the amount it costs for me to develop like the minimum viable product is still, I can still justify that by only using it for my own business.
Right.
But yeah, it's funny to look back on, right? Because I'm like, man, I don't know if anyone would ever buy this. Now it's like over 200,000 people have purchased Jungle Scout,
Wow.
So,
You can't limit, you can't, your mind will limit you sometimes, right?
oh, every time, like even now, like,
You
all
just
the
gotta
success
throw
I've
it out
had.
there and see what happens, right?
Yeah, totally. That's still my mind's still like the limiting factor with most things I do in life.
Yeah, do you still have I'm curious if this happens in the business of Jungle Scout. You have things that you do, and you have certain things you do that you think are going to be like they're going to be amazing. Like, and then you have other things that you're doing that you're like, yeah, this is we're going to do it, but it's like whatever. And then the one that you weren't so psyched about brought a much better return than the one that you were really psyched about.
Yeah. So that still happens sometimes. It used to happen a lot more. And then like I finally realized that it's like, Greg, like you're terrible at deciding like what, like the end customer or like, like the customer wants. So stop like trying to guess and just always just developed everything based off customer feedback and customer surveys and customer interviews. So
Oh
now we're
wow.
much more like customer driven. And I learned that the hard way by just thinking that like I knew what the customers wanted. They're like, yeah, this isn't that cool. I'm like, what? That's the coolest thing we've ever released.
What do you mean it's not cool?
Yeah. So yeah, now it's much more like all of the development we do is very customer driven.
Yeah, and so you said you do that with surveys and stuff you send to customers via email or on your website, or
All of the above. So surveys is a good way, a lot of customer interviews. So like me, even as a CEO, I still do a lot of customer interviews. Like all of our product managers do lots of customer interviews. Yeah, those are the main ways we collect feedback, but also just from like tickets that people send in to support, those all get logged and kind of categorized, like what people are looking for. I mean, even things just like talking to people at conferences. I guess you could kind of call those customer interviews, but we really just get customer data from anywhere we can.
right. That's huge though. That's a good insight for any company in any niche, and even for myself. Like as a YouTuber, I'm thinking, oh wow, maybe I need to pull my audience more and find out what they want, because that happens to me regularly. I make a really good video and I'm like, oh, this is going to kill, and it bombs, and then the
Totally.
video that I thought was so crappy that I didn't put it out. I had it ready for a week and I just didn't publish it. Then I publish it and it just does really well.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh man, I have no clue what I'm doing.
So for all you guys watching this right now, drop in the chat box what video you want Reezy to do next, so he knows and doesn't have to, have one flop.
Dude, yeah, that's awesome. No,
Or
I
if you're
gotta,
watching the replay, drop in the comments.
yeah, I gotta work that into every video now. It would be
Yeah,
like,
there you
let me
go.
know what kind of video you want to see, and I'll make
Totally.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, let's see. So you're selling, then you developed Jungle Scout. Let's talk about, was Jungle Scout the first product research tool that came out, or was
Yes,
there
it
a
was.
predecessor?
So yeah, the reason Jungle Scout was like so groundbreaking when we launched it, and still today for almost everyone who first signs up, is because was the first product research tool, but probably more importantly, like it was the first way, or the first opportunity that people had to know how many units were being sold on Amazon for products. So pre Jungle Scout, there was no way to know like how well products were selling on Amazon. So if I went to a listing that had hoodie baby towels or whatever else, like I didn't really have any way to know how many units that were being sold. There used to be kind of like rules of thumb that people would follow, like, oh, only sell products that have like a bestseller rank of like 3,000 or below, or like these different like rules of thumbs that some people taught. But the fact of the matter was, most of those were pretty crappy. They did like a really poor job of estimating sales. So when Jungle Scout first came out and we developed an algorithm to estimate to like a pretty high degree of accuracy how well products were selling on Amazon, that's when it really kind of like took off, because that's such valuable information for sellers to know.
Right, because before, and I speak lightly because I'm not a private label seller, but some of the stuff I do for arbitrage is similar. I obviously don't want to, buy 20 of this item to sell if my competitor has 5,000 in stock or whatever. So what you used to do was the 999 trick, where you would go and try to add the max amount of units from your competitor to your cart, and see if you could check out. And then you would, write that down on a piece of paper, and then you would check again the next day. Yeah, and then you could, if it was 995 the next day, you would assume they sold 4 products. Is that what Jungle Scout is doing? How does Jungle Scout actually get the data on the sales estimates?
Yeah, really good question. So we, it's different today than what it was in, when I first developed it, but this is how it works today. Is we have, I forget the exact number now, but let's say like roughly, I think it's like 100,000 products that we track on a daily basis and know the actual sales. And these are the real sales coming from people's accounts who have opted in to kind of like donate that data to us. So they give us their real sales data from on their real products. Okay. Now, of course, there's like tens of millions of products on Amazon. That's only 100,000. So how do we figure out how good the sales are for all the rest of the products on Amazon? And we do that by these models that we create to model how well the rest are selling. So the main factor that goes into them is bestsellers rank. So for example, if we know bestsellers rank of 2,000 sells 100 a day, and bestseller rank 3,000 sells 50 a day, then 2,500, it probably sells about 75 a day, right? About halfway in between there, or you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of create models once you have enough real data to estimate how well other products are selling. Now, nowadays, it's much more advanced than that, because we take into account a bunch of other factors as well. So it's like category, subcategory, price, reviews, days on Amazon, like all these, we take into account all these different factors. And then it's just a machine learning algorithm that we can spit in all that data, and it can do a really good job predicting how many units it's being sold every day. So yeah, it's accurate to about plus or minus 10%. So if we're telling you we're estimating 300 units per month, it's selling about between like 270 to 330. So roughly in that range. So it's pretty darn close. Like it's plenty accurate enough for Amazon sellers to make like educated decisions about like whether or not they want to sell that product, or like how many units to order.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much answered that above and beyond what I was asking. So, when I do own Jungle Scout extension. I purchased it, I think, 2 years ago at least.
Cool.
I I I don't sell private label, so I don't really remember why I bought it. I think maybe I was like, well, I think it was you were running a promo or something, and I was like, oh, it's going to be more in the future. I might as well pick this up. Maybe it was like end of the year, and I was just like adding up deductions, or I
Yeah.
don't remember, but I use it for a lot of different stuff now. I use it for merch by Amazon research.
Nice.
So like I'll
Yeah.
search for a certain shirt and there's little extensions or tricks that make it so you only see the merch by Amazon shirts. And then I'll be in a niche and I'll populate the whole page with like a bazillion thing because there's like an infinity scroll extension to whatever. And then I'll run Jungle Scout on it and then I'll be able to sort them because Amazon doesn't display them. I'm using like DS Quick View or whatever to show the sales rank on the search results, but it's
Cool.
still not sorted in result of bestseller rank. So then you run Jungle Scout on your search results, and then you can look through and see which one is performing the best, or at least has the best sales rank. So there's a
Right.
lot of creative ways to use it, and it's really a powerful tool. But since then, you came out with the web version of Jungle Scout, right?
Yep.
Tell me. Well, I guess we should go over what Jungle Scout does exactly, I guess, for people that have never used it or whatever.
Yeah.
You want to run that through first, the
You want to do your
extension, and
screen
then we
share?
can talk about the. Yeah, let's do a screen share. Let's go through like the extension and then go into the web one and let them know.
Cool. So you can see my screen now?
Yep.
All right, great. All right, so the Chrome extension, this is what Reezy has, is it installs into your Google Chrome browser. So I'm in Google Chrome right now, and once you install it, you have this little JS up here. So when you click the JS, you see this screen, all right, this little like pop-up. And what it's populating here are all of the products that are on the page. So, I was on this page, I was on Amazon, I searched for hooded baby towel. So all of these products that are on this page, they're the products that I want to understand kind of like the details associated with them. So when I click the little extension, this thing loads and that's what it's giving me. So these are all the products that are on this page. And, more importantly, we can see things like how many units they sell per month, what the revenue is, the number of reviews. We can see the net after Amazon fees. So, like this product sells for $18.98, but after Amazon fees, there's only $3.14 left. And we can see, how much the fees are. We could see like, okay, if we buy this product for $5, how much will my profit be? It'd be $8.14 after Amazon's fees. So it gives you like cool information like that. So yeah, there's tons of other functionality inside the Chrome extension. I guess I don't want to bore people too much. Maybe some other highlights would be you can filter these results. You can say only show me the products that are let's say like above $15 and make at least 500 sales per month. I can filter those, so only those are being shown. So that's what I'm seeing now. It does other cool stuff
And this only
like
works on search results on Amazon, correct?
only on Amazon, but it pretty much works on any Amazon page where there's products being displayed. So that's like on the Amazon bestsellers page. That's on the, of course, the search results page. That's on like Amazon storefronts, like pretty much any page on Amazon where it displays products.
And can you export that list out as well?
Yes, you can. So you click down here, this little share or download, and you can download it as a CSV file. And then
Nice.
you open that like in Excel. Yeah. Other cool stuff like this product, I guess it's only been on sale since February, but it shows you like historical sales. So, their first month, they only sold 93, the next month, 307, next month, 678. It's like they're doing pretty well.
And you guys are tracking that on your and storing it in your local database, yeah?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So that's, it was gathering that from our, from our servers. So like this is one, wow, this product's really trending up over the years. But this product that we have sales data all the way back from spring of 2016. And this is how it's kind of like done each month. So yeah, it's pretty cool. This is how many units are being sold each month for as long as we have data for. So tons of good pieces of information. Like this is the rank history. I could zoom in. Let's see, like, give me the rank history for the past, few weeks. I can see all that, which is pretty cool. This over here, this is the listing quality score. So this is like how likely is that listing to convert? So 10's the best, 1's the worst. So like this listing right here has a good score, 8 out of 10. Whereas, something like this top listing, this one's actually has a pretty poor listing.
Is that to tell you like you could make more or less if this is improved upon or not?
So actually my favorite way to use the listing quality score would be to find products that are selling well, like this one, even though they have a crappy listing. So let's look at this listing real quick. So, you're allowed to have 8 photos. They only have 2 photos. There's not very many keywords in the title, right? You could have like 3 or 4 times as many keywords. So they're
For
not
example, what would you throw on that one?
So this one I would say like hooded baby towel, gray, elephant, good for kids, babies, or toddlers. I would have to do some keyword research, but that would kind of like be the gist of it. So you could, because like that's like the number one factor Amazon takes into account when ranking products is like what keywords are in the title.
Good to know. What do you do for keyword research? What's your favorite tool?
Well, funny you ask, because this week actually, on Thursday or Friday, Jungle Scout's releasing a keyword research tool. So you're actually the first person I've ever told that in the public.
Wow.
And really the reason for that was just because we couldn't really find a keyword tool that we liked. Like I used to use merchant words, and then I try to use ones that are based off of essentially like Google or Bing results. And we found, you'll see once we release it, but it's just like leaps and bounds so much better than anything else out there, both for keyword discovery as well as keyword accuracy.
Awesome. Does
Yeah.
it pull keywords? Like, can you snipe keywords from other listings? Like,
Yeah.
does it
So
do
you can do
back
like
end keywords?
yeah, it does that. It also does like a reverse ASIN search. So I could input, this ASIN number right here, B00, blah, blah, blah. And I could paste that into our keyword search tool, and it would show you all the keywords that they rank for. So that works really well.
That's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. Do other tools do that too?
There was one tool that used to do it like a couple years ago, and I guess essentially they just stopped working on it or whatever else because it hasn't been updated in like a few years.
Now, somewhat sidetracking you here, but do Amazon keywords, do they perform as like they want you to use exact search phrases, or is it keywords and they build upon like the amount of similar keywords, or how does that work?
How does Amazon
Like for example, on YouTube, a lot of people would just put like, let's use this video for example. They would put Greg Mercer, Jungle Scout, private label, Amazon FBA, but those don't rank as well on YouTube because YouTube ranks search phrases higher. So like, how to find private label products would rank higher because someone's actually searching for that.
Yeah. Good question. So Amazon's kind of unique in the fact that they see like an entire buyer journey. So they see when someone searches for hooded baby towel, which listing they end up purchasing, and then they would rank that respective listing better because of that.
Okay.
So, just like with YouTube or whatever else, no one knows all of the factors that they take into account, but what we do know, it's very much category and keyword relevancy. We know that they weigh the keywords in the title the heaviest. And then the next biggest thing is probably the conversion rate. So when most people search hooded baby towels, if they go on to purchase this particular product here, then Amazon, that's like a great symbol to Amazon that this must be a hooded baby towel, because when people search that, they buy this.
Huge. And I didn't realize that for a long time. Once I started getting into doing merch by Amazon, I started realizing it more because there's no back end keywords for merch by Amazon. So you have to do it in the title, in the description, in the bullets, etc. And I would notice that, some people were spamming the keywords really hard in the bullets, like basically every keyword you could think of with commas. And they would come up in search results like but they're not selling because like say it's a hamburger shirt and they put like French fry or whatever, then people look for a French fry shirt and the hamburger shirt comes up and they don't buy it, and that shirt gets punished in the search
Right.
results. So you think you're doing yourself a favor, but if you're attracting buyers that are not likely to actually purchase, you're hurting your conversion rate, and that's pushing your listing down.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's awesome. You guys are coming out with a keyword tool. Is that going to be part of any existing software, or is it going to be a new product?
Yeah, so I guess that makes us I guess that rolls in nicely to the web app because that's what will be included in. So just because I know this is always confusing for people, this right here is the Jungle Scout extension. And the difference between this is, like I'm on Amazon.com right now, right? I made a search and then that's when I ran the extension. And this data that's being shown here, this is, these are the products that were on this Amazon page. All right. So that's the Jungle Scout extension. The Jungle Scout web app, this is what Reezy was asking about kind of like what the difference is. This is a little bit different. This is more of like a traditional SaaS application. And when I say that, like it runs on Jungle Scout servers, we're over here at like junglescout.com. So this is like a piece of software that runs in the cloud. And this has a few different pieces of functionality. I don't want to go into this too deep, but an example of it is like we have this, which is the product database. What we've done here is we've rebuilt Amazon's catalog in a way that's user-friendly to search through. So let's say like, hey, I'm interested in selling, let's just say baby products, because that was the example we were just using. Show me all the baby products that are at least $20 that sell at least 500 units per month and have less than 100 reviews. All right, you can search that. And this shows you all of the products that meet that particular criteria. So as you can imagine, this is like a really good way to come up with product ideas. Like another example would be like, all right, I don't care about price, but show me all the products that sell at least, let's say 250 units per month, even though they have a really crappy rating. So like 3.5 out of 5 stars, right? So these are all of the products that they're still selling pretty well, right? Like this guy, or like this one, it's selling 537 units per month, even though its average review is 3.3. So that's pretty bad. I don't think I would buy on anything on Amazon with like a 3.5 star review, right? But why this is valuable for us is then we can go, because this is very obvious that people want this product because it's selling really well, even though it gets crappy reviews. So then I can just be like, okay, well, what's wrong with this? Why is it getting bad reviews? Maybe I can make a small improvement and I get good reviews, and then I could probably even sell it better. So
just want to interrupt you real quickly because that's like a popular brand toy. And so
oh yeah,
we're not suggesting that you private label a Littlest Pet Shop doll,
right.
But everything that Greg is saying applies to this situation if it was like a random puppy toy that wasn't from a big brand.
Right. So of course there's like, as you just pointed out, more diligence you'd have to do about it, but that'd be like the concept, right? Like something like this, I doubt this thing's patented or anything, but it's selling well, even though it's getting bad reviews. So if you read this, the sewing's not strong enough, broke.
It's a kid leash.
Yeah, the wristband broke.
The leash broke. I lost my kid.
So it seems like to me, it's like, this is actually, I think, a really good example of something you could easily improve because they're saying like the stitching on the sewing broke. So it's like, okay, like right here where it's stitched to the kid or stitched to your wrist, like just ask them to do like double stitching or quadruple stitching or whatever, right?
Right.
So that's like, I think that's a good example because let's see, how well is this selling? This thing's selling.
That's like a minor improvement. That wouldn't even cost you. That might not even cost you anything to get extra stitching.
Yeah, totally. So it's selling like 930 units per month. Even though it gets crappy reviews, and yeah, maybe for like 10 cents extra or maybe for free, you could just do better stitching and then probably get like 5-star reviews instead. So that's why it's like really powerful to be able to just filter through listings like that. So
yeah, so cool. For the viewers that are watching, as you guys know, I sell primarily books, and that's what I started with. And so a good analogy for this is it's like eFlip, but for non-books, for everything on Amazon. So Greg, eFlip is a tool that lets you find arbitrage opportunities between merchant fulfilled and FBA on Amazon. So you'll buy the book for $10 merchant fulfilled because the FBA price is 60, and then you'll send it in and sell it. But
Oh,
it's
cool.
the same thing, you know. You could do it on Amazon, but it'll take you forever using 12 different extensions to try to optimize it, you know. Or, you know, they pull their own database, build their own interface, and then you can go through the database in a much more efficient manner.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, so I mean, the niche hunter, we've done something similar, except instead of filtering through products, you can filter through, they're essentially niches. Also could be probably called keywords though. So same thing, you can kind of filter through those. One of the other part that we have is the product tracker. And this is like, you can add products to this. And as soon as you add it, then we'll track it on a daily basis, what the inventory is and how many units have been sold that day. So this is
So this
reason.
adds it to the ones that you're already tracking, and that's more of a better estimate than the. I'm not exactly sure what's going on when you add it versus what was going on before.
Yeah, good question. So this just lets you kind of like look at it underneath a magnifying glass and how many are being sold every day. So actually, like this product right here, like went out of stock. Let me try to. That one had over 900. So this is like a pretty good example of one of the inventory decreasing every day. So you can get like a better idea of how many units are sold on a day by day basis instead of just a snapshot about how many units have been sold over a 30-day basis.
How accurate is that? How is it tracking it?
It uses a few different methods. So if it has, like this product had less than 999 in stock, so that can do the difference in inventory on a daily basis.
So it's just automating the cart purchases?
Yeah. I'm sorry. So
it's like automating the 999 trick, basically?
Yep, that's exactly right. But as you probably know, that's not always accurate because if there's more than one seller or if Amazon,
if they replenish their inventory, yeah, you don't know if they sold 10 units or they sold 20, but 10 more went active.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But what we do to get around that is we monitor the best sellers rank, and we know that like right here, the rank went from 156,000 down to 50,000. So like our algorithms know, okay, that makes sense that they would sell 2 units that day because that's the difference of rank that would correspond to 2 units of sales.
Okay, right. So that's where the machine learning comes in.
Yeah, so that's how we can do a better job than what you can by just doing like the 999 trick thing yourself.
Do you know how many times it's checking that per day?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know it's multiple times per day.
Awesome. Someone in the chat is a very large wholesaler, and they were curious how you could use Jungle Scout for wholesale, or if you can at all.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do it.
Can you import a list of products into that, like a CSV?
No, you can't. So it's more so for like product discovery if you don't know what to sell. So yeah, there's no way to like import a list of potential products. But what I could do is, let's say I want to see all the products that are fulfilled by merchant. So, you know, that means that you should be able to easily win the buy box if you sell, you know, like if you sell that FBA. You could say only show me products that have, let's say like let's actually say 3 or more sellers. That way, you know, it's definitely like a brand as opposed to a private label. And let's say we want things that sell at least relatively well. So it's like 30 units a month. That'd be like 1 a day. So this is way too many results. I would want to filter this a little bit further because there's over 400,000 of them. But then right here, now all of a sudden I can get ideas of products that I could potentially sell. Are brands that I would want to contact because I know all of these are, you know, like wholesale type products. Now I forget my other filters.
Yeah, that's actually makes a lot of sense because I was just talking to a buddy and the way he does, the way he finds wholesale products, shout out to Josh Profits in Canada, is he goes through categories manually on Amazon and he'll go through like starting at like the best selling product and he'll go all the way to like 1,000 or maybe even to 5,000. He'll just drill through it. But he's just looking. He's like, oh, if Amazon's selling it, he doesn't want to sell it, right? So that X's that off. He's like, if the brand is selling it, he doesn't want to sell it either. X that off, you know. But then he's like, okay, Amazon doesn't sell it. It actually sells. You know, there's a couple people selling it, and it's not the brand owner. Let's put in a request to get a wholesale account with this company. But I think I'm going to have to give him a heads up, because using the Jungle Scout web app could probably save him some time, because you can show only results that Amazon isn't in stock, right?
That's correct. So that means like this right here, this is only showing listings where a fulfilled by merchant seller owns the buy box.
And you can check all three of those, or no?
Yeah, you could do all three or two or none. Or
right. So they show me items that it's not Amazon, but it sells for over this amount, like maybe $30, and then only the top 5,000 products in a certain category.
So I'm going to delete these then. You don't want those. A max rank of 5,000 is what you said. Minimum $30 and FBM or FBA. And I'll just do all the categories. Or you said a select.
Yeah. Let's just do one category.
All right.
Let's do like health and beauty or whatever, supplements or something. What are those, dietary?
I think they're actually split up into a few. So maybe we do health and household, and then there's also what's the other one they're split into?
These are just main categories then, yeah?
That's correct. These are all the parent categories. None of the there's I think there's like 26,000 subcategories, so it's difficult to put those into filters.
You can also add a keyword in your search as well?
Yeah, of course.
So you could straight just put a brand name on there.
Yeah, like if you what do you know a brand name off the top of your head?
Nature's Made.
Nature's Made?
Yeah, I believe that's how you spell it. Nature's Made. I think it's a supplement company.
So it doesn't look like that one. Let's just try Nature. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong or something. Or maybe it's not in the top 5,000 results. Let's try that. Or it's probably not over $30. $30 is pretty high price for a supplement, right?
Nature Made. Yeah, not with an S.
Oops. Let me delete this real quick, because I doubt that's over $30. So there you go. So these are all the Nature Made, and that's why none are showing up, because they're all less than 16, 12, 6, whatever.
And all of these Amazon doesn't sell on these listings.
That's correct.
Dude, that's super useful. That can cut down on a lot of time for finding products.
Totally.
Or do you think you'll ever bring it to where you could import a list? So say you make a wholesale account with Nature Made and they give you the catalog in CSV, then I could run that through there?
Yeah, we've had that request before. It's definitely, I'd say, like in the future roadmap. The biggest challenge we've had with that so far is typically when pretty much like all wholesalers will give you lists kind of like in different formats. Like sometimes they have the UPC, sometimes they have their model number, whatever else. And the problem is a lot of time, like Amazon has a pretty like dirty catalog. And what I mean by that is like, it's just not very, it's not very, what's the best way to put it? Like in the UPC field, like a lot of times it doesn't actually have the UPC in there, or like whatever else.
Right.
So the problem is a lot of times it's hard to match up when all you have is like the model number with like this particular listing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but that is something that a challenge that we'd like to tackle in the future. I just remembered something else really cool about, because you brought up like wholesaling. So a lot of times people have a hard time getting accounts with wholesalers. All right. But something that I found that makes it way easier is if you have something to offer that wholesaler above just selling their products on Amazon. Because they're like, well, it's already on, someone already sells this on Amazon. Like, what benefit do I really get for like to sell this to more accounts or to more people? So what you can do is, let's delete Nature's Made before Yeah, we'll put in those filters you had before, 30 and less than 5,000. And then let's say only show us poor quality listings. So in here, the score is 1 through 100. So I'm just gonna say like a 30. So it pops up here. So all of these products are, I kind of forget my filters, not sold by Amazon, at least $30. They're in the top 5,000 spots in their category, and they have a poor quality listing. And the reason that this can be beneficial is then you can go, Ziploc might be kind of hard to get an account with, but let's say this is just something else. You can go to them and say like, hey, look, your listing on Amazon is terrible. You only have one picture. Your bullet points suck. There's like 2 or 3 words in each one. So you can say like, if you're willing to sell to me, I'll actually improve your Amazon listing for you, because you can like go into other listings on Amazon that you didn't create and make improvements to them, right? So like, let's just look at another one real quick. Like whatever, let's see what this company is. So same thing, right? I mean, I don't know if you could get a wholesale account with this company or not, but they're obviously a lot smaller than Ziploc because I've never heard of them. Precision Extra. And then same thing, you could go to this company and say like, hey, if you're willing to sell to me wholesale, like I'll complete the rest of your listing for you. I'll add some more photos. And right now you only have 1 bullet point. You're allowed 5. Like, let me just help you. I can pretty much guarantee to you that you'll sell more units on Amazon. And, like we have like this nice symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So
rather than, I mean,
very powerful.
generally from what I get from the private label people that I talk to, the last thing you want to do is lead with, I'm going to sell it on Amazon.
Yeah.
But if I also hear people saying, don't lie if they ask you, or say, yeah, we sell everywhere, not just Amazon. We sell everywhere. But if it gets down to it, you might as well consider this like a good tactic, right?
Of course. Like if I was this company, if I was Precision Extra, like I think I'd be crazy not to like open up one more account with this person if they were going to make my listing on Amazon better. Like these,
honestly, it would save them so much money and add so much value to them. So I do local business consultations for Amazon, and I just walk and talk Amazon. Like if you bump into me at the grocery store, I'm going to talk to you about Amazon, guaranteed. So my friends that own businesses or people that I have, I have their ear, then like I don't really market it hard or anything, but I have a couple companies local that I help do Amazon FBA consulting. I actually made a video about that. If you click up here later, you'll be able to check it out. But what happens is, okay, like let's get Amazon going for you. So for one, it's a coffee company, my friend's cafe, and they roast and they want to sell their coffee and other products on Amazon. So I set up their account, or they set up their account. I consulted with them, and then they were like, okay, we got it. It turns out they didn't have it. It was, they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't get approved for grocery. So I got them approved for grocery. I got them the exemption so they don't have to have barcodes on their products.
Nice.
But you know how Amazon is. It's just not like super simple. You have to beat it into them sometimes to get what you want. So yeah, get them all set up, and then, then they start making sales, and then it's like, oh, hey, can you come back and help us, how to make an FBA shipment? Right. And, then it's like, well, we're not making a lot of sales. And then I'm like, well, those pictures suck, and like, okay, right. Let's fix the pictures, and then, well, why aren't we making sales? Well, I'm like, well, you're like, your bullets aren't. And then what happens is that like someone in the company had to, however much they pay their employees, like $12, $15 an hour, they spent who knows how many hours trying to figure out Amazon. Whole day goes by, they get nothing done. Then they, then they're trying to take pictures too. Then they're trying to figure out keywords. Then they're on YouTube trying to learn from people like me or you. Like, right. It's just not feasible for them to do it, right? So like, you might think it's like not that big of a deal, but improving a company's listing on Amazon, it might be worth like $5,000, like especially from their perspective when they don't know, what it is. Maybe you could do it in a day, who knows? But companies don't care how long it takes. They just care about results, right? And what it would cost them to get it done internally.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because everyone watching this is like, why don't they just go in there and update their own pictures? Like, it's so easy to do. I could do that in 10 minutes. And like, the truth of the matter is like, that's just like what happens with big companies, right? They're all busy. They have things to do. There's no one on their team that really knows how to do Amazon. They've tried to hire someone from this job, but couldn't find it. So they're like, oh, screw it. We'll just not do it. And so that's like is tremendously valuable to someone.
Yeah, definitely. I could easily see that's like super valuable. Like, yeah, sorry, we don't sell to Amazon sellers, but wait, your product page sucks. And I know
Right.
you're already selling to people that sell on Amazon, and I'm sure you're aware that, you know, a lot of they move more of your units than your retail stores that you ship to, you know?
Right.
So they're going to want to improve it. It's simple sense, right? Like I sell I have a couple wholesale accounts that I sell on Amazon from local companies, and at first they didn't know I was selling on Amazon, and then when they realized it, they could care less. They're like happy because I'm ordering more. I'm ordering like 2 to 3 times as much as their brick and mortar locations that they ship to,
Yeah, I
and
bet.
I just show up and pick it all up. They don't have to ship it. Like, don't underestimate yourself or what you guys know, because from the outside you're an expert. Like if you've spent like 100 hours watching YouTube videos, or you know, even if you're just making a side income on Amazon, like you're an expert compared to most people. So like, don't sell yourself short.
Totally.
So when does the keyword tool come out?
It should ship on Friday. So it's at the 17th, May
Yeah,
17th,
seven,
18th.
something like that, this weekend.
Yeah.
What is is there two versions of the web tool? Light
Yeah.
and
Yeah, good question. The extension has two versions, the light one and the pro one. So the demo I was giving, that was with the pro extension. It has some additional functionality, like it gives you more like historical data and has like the opportunity score, and you can go to the website and see like the differences on the pricing table. So and it's a little more expensive. And then with the web app, there's actually 3 different levels of it, and the main difference is whether or not it includes the niche hunter and how many products you could track. And then with the keyword tool, that's going to be released to all of the different levels.
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good to know. So, do you want to do some more product research real quick? Like
Sure.
maybe try and find an actual product. Like I wanted to talk about jungle sticks also. I just
Yeah.
think that's an interesting story. And also wanted to see like do some real life product research where you find a product that you're like, oh, I might actually consider looking into this more. Because I
Yeah.
think,
Totally.
I mean, myself, I feel overwhelmed when I do product research. Like, there's just so much possibilities, and, you know, I have no idea. I'm like, oh, God, should I pull the trigger on this one? But there's this, and there's this. And I actually did one private label product, and it didn't do too well. My main problem, and I'm hoping others can learn from this, is what I did was I looked for a product that sells and has a decent ranking, but in the category I was in, it just wasn't selling enough units overall. Like there was a good opportunity for me to get into that niche and sell units, but there just wasn't a lot of meat on the entire niche overall. And on top of that, let's say there was only 10 people selling in this niche, there was only 2 people who were making 90 to 95% of the sales. And so 80% of the other sellers were just dragging their feet and not making any sales. So that's two things, is that I was, you know, I was like, oh, there's not a lot of people selling it. But really, I didn't, you know, now I know that you should look for a niche that has, I'm not saying everybody has to be winning or whatever, but like when only 1 or 2 people in a category are doing really well, that's kind of like a red flag.
Yep.
And then just overall, you know, how many units is selling overall, like everybody in the entire category, you know, because if it's not, you know, a certain amount, it's not worth your time.
Yep. You did half the explaining for me. I'm going to go ahead and just take the rest of the night off. Do you want to look for a private label product here to sell, or do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do the private label thing, and then we can talk about jungle sticks.
Okay, cool. All right, sweet. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just leave all of the Well, let me deselect a few categories actually. So I'm gonna deselect a few of the categories that I think are poor categories for private labeling. So watches, like I don't like jewelry, video games, any type of media is pretty bad for private labeling. It probably goes without saying. So I'm going to remove software. Let's remove music, movies, Remove Kindle, CDs,
Oh, you could
camera.
search the Kindle store. So you could use this tool to identify niches
Yeah,
to go after for Kindle publishing.
totally.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then I typically try to sell relatively simple items. So I'm going to deselect electronics here as well. And that's good enough. So um, I prefer products that are, say, like $18 or higher. The cheaper items, let's say like the $10 items, usually like after Amazon fees, you'll only make like $1, $2, $3 profit. And it just takes like a lot more sales if you're
What's
only
your
making like,
average minimum profit you're looking for on an item? Would you say it's like $5 or
yeah, $5.
great?
So most of my margins are rough around 25%. So like a $20 item, I usually make like $5 profit.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we'll just say a minimum of 18, or let's do 20 since we just said that. Um, I want to see all the products that are selling at least like 500 units per month. That's a good volume of sales. I only want to see items that say, let's say have let me think what I'm going to do with this one. Actually, for this one, I want to find a product that I can make an improvement on. This is like my favorite one these days. So I'm actually don't care about the number of reviews, but what I do care about is the max rating. So let's say like 3.5 stars or less. Actually, let's do 3.7 because a 3.7 star, like the visual indicator of it shows up as 3.5 to the customer. And yeah, that's good enough for now. Just
Does
go ahead
this
and
work
search.
for only US or is other markets as well?
It has all of these markets. So
Oh,
this is
wow.
pretty much everything except for Australia's brand new. I wouldn't really recommend selling there because there's hardly any sales volume there. And then it's also missing Japan and China. But it has all of North America, EU, and India.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, quick recap, all the products being shown here are in these selected categories: minimum $20, minimum 500 sales per month, maximum review 3.7 stars. So, all of these items, there's like 29,000 of them. These are all good candidates to make an improvement to. Okay. So, I'm just going to search through here real quick for all I'm doing right now is just looking at the photos, and I want to look at something that I feel like would be relatively easy to improve on. So like a printer cartridge, that's like pretty complicated, or a curling iron, fairly complicated, right? But like when I see something like this, like shrink wrap, like that's a pretty simple product. There's not much you can do with it. Let me try to find something else that looks relatively simple too. Dun, 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 dun. I usually don't sell anything that goes on your body or in your body. And what I mean by that's like lotion, oils, supplements, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people do sell it and like it, but to me, it just seems like a little bit of like a liability issue.
Right. So if you guys are listening right now on the podcast or you're just listening while you work, you're not watching, what Greg is doing is he is scrolling through search results in the Jungle Scout web app and looking for products that we can dig into further.
Yeah. All right. So I chose a couple here, and I only chose these because just judging by the picture, like a quick scan, like I looked at like 3 pages and whatever that was, 30 seconds. And after a quick scan, it just looked like these were like relatively simple products. Okay. So we have some shrink wrap here. This shrink wrap sells very well. I forget how many, but it sells at least 500 units per month. Its star rating is 3.3 out of 5 stars. And it has a lot of reviews. Okay. So the next thing we can do is we could either, let's jump down and read some of the bad reviews and see what's wrong with them. Not the length that they said they were, not 1,500 feet as advertised, not 1,500 feet. Okay. So this is like an easy improvement, right? All I have to do is just sell actual 1,500 foot long rolls of saran wrap, and then I'll get good reviews instead of bad reviews. So it's a pretty, so that's what I think that's what like shocks a lot of people is like a lot of these things are very easy. Like this was just like mistakenly labeled, and they've sold thousands of these and gotten a lot of bad reviews as a result. So let me then I'm going to search for plastic shrink stretch wrap. I'm just going to do the whole Amazon store, or let's just do plastic shrink wrap. I think that's probably a better keyword. All right. Now, we know that one individual item sells well, but what I'm trying to do now is gauge to see how the category or like the niche as a whole does. Because just like the example that you just gave, Reezy, about like there was only one or two sellers that did like all of the sales. That's what we want to avoid, right? So the way I do that is for those just following along via audio, I searched the entire Amazon store for plastic shrink wrap. I ran the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. And now what I'm looking at is a list of the results for all of the products on this page. And right away, my eyes jumping over to the sales category. I want to make sure there's a lot of sales volume in this particular niche. So these top two products, these are actually sponsored products. So, they pay for these placements. We can just skip over those, or I could even remove those to make it easier to look at. Now, if I were to add these up, the top three sellers are selling 2,000, 2,700, 5,500. And then after that, it actually kind of shrinks down like 70, 700, 150, 120. So it's like if I was in these top three spots, I'd be selling really well. Below that, not so much. But I'm not ready to kill it yet because there is quite a bit of demand. The next things I would look at would be like the overall price, what the net is, if I'd be able to make a profit, and then how I'd be able to compete with these other sellers. So it looks like there's actually a number of different types of shrink wrap here. But let's see. So yeah, this is the one we looked at. This is crazy. It's selling for $42, selling 700 units a month, even though the rating's really bad. It looks like Amazon takes a lot out of fees though, because
it's probably pretty heavy.
Yeah, $42 product price. The net's only 18. But I mean, let's say we bought that for like $9 for 4 rolls. That's still $9 in profit, which is pretty dang good. That'd be like 100% return on investment for every unit you buy. And if you sold 10 units a day, $9 profit a pop, $90 a day. I don't know about you, but that's pretty good money to me.
What's a average shipping rate per pound you can get from China, assuming we're ordering this from China? I mean, if you could pick this up locally, that'd be a home run, right?
Yeah. So ocean shipments are actually very cheap.
Do you know how much it weighs? This listing?
Oh wow, it is heavy. 29 pounds.
Yeah. So even sending it to FBA is going to cost you like $8 per unit.
Well, like something like this, like how I do it is I ship. So like if I were to order this product, I'd order like 1,000 or 2,000 units from China, and that's probably like a full container. So it's about $2,500 to ship a container from China to the Amazon distribution center, and you can send a whole container straight to the Amazon distribution center. So like they unload it off.
How many pallets fit in a container?
So when they put it in the container, it's just loose packed. It's not on pallets, but like, just to help people visualize, you can do roughly like 10 pallets in a container.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and then you would have it just ready to go to Amazon with your FNSKU printed on the packaging and everything.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I give that label to the factory and they print it right on there. They put my carton labels on there and they load a full container and then ship it straight to Amazon. So that's how you like make the unit economics of this one work. So actually shipping, like the overall cost, if I were just a ballpark for this product, it would probably be about like $1 to $2 to land this at Amazon if you're shipping a full container full.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense, right? If you're thinking about shipping a product, if weight is an issue, and I mean, I guess it's always an issue, right? No matter what, I mean, unless you're selling like overhead transparencies or something like that. But yeah, there's no reason to ship it to yourself first, like a lot of business models can't do that with Amazon. I'm not sure, but I don't think you can have your wholesale setup send it directly to FBA for you. Maybe. But definitely not, with online arbitrage or any other model like that. You have to send it to a facility that will prep it for you. But that's a huge advantage right there.
Yeah, totally.
Do you house any products locally at all? Like, do you have your own warehouse where you store any of your private label products for restocking?
Nope, I don't. Everything I have dozens and dozens of products that I've never even seen in real life, just because they go from China straight to the Amazon distribution center. I never
You
looked,
saw the
touched, or
samples, I imagine.
yeah, the samples, like before I choose a factory, but like the actual production run, I actually have actually, you're talking about my jungle sticks. I can show them so everyone sees what we're talking about here.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that's a funny, I mean, it's an insightful story, but it's also funny because traditionally, you wouldn't share your private label product, and you would assume that if you did, it would tank and it would be worth nothing.
Right.
So
Yeah,
how did you create this product, or how did you come about this? Because it was done like publicly, correct?
yeah, that's right. So it was done part of a case study. For anyone who's interested, you could just Google like $1 million case study and you'll find this one. But yeah, it was that, just like you mentioned, like most people don't want to share their products for good reason, right? Like if I search marshmallow sticks right now, or like, I'll show you this. So before we launched our bamboo marshmallow sticks, there was only like 2 other sellers selling them. And then now, like if we go and look at this, there's like 10 pages of results, right? Of just people who just straight up copied our product. So rightfully so, most people don't share their products. But the downside of that is like it's really hard for people trying to learn, like not to be able to sell your product, or not to be able to see your product. Like it's just so much more insightful if they can actually see the product and like know what you're selling. But
And it
so
makes
yeah,
sense that the bamboo ones would do good because, like, I don't even know what kind of wood they make the sticks out of, like, traditionally, right? And like they're always like super short too. It's like you either use those sticks that are super short and burning your fingers, and you don't even know what kind of wood they're made out of, and or you're using like these metal things that are like disgusting and hard to clean after the marshmallows dry on them.
yeah, that's exactly right. It's actually the reason we came up with this idea. I mean, you can go back and look at the old videos, but marshmallow sticks were selling well, and there was like I think like 2 companies actually selling like bamboo marshmallow sticks, but they're really short. And when we read the reviews, that's what people said, like, man, I wish they were longer, because I think our competitors were like 18 inches long. So we're like, okay, we're going to sell 36-inch long sticks. So I mean, these are like 3 feet long. These are like pretty dang long sticks.
Do they ship in a tube?
They do not. They ship in just I can show you here, just like this plastic bag.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what they ship in. Since we launched this, man, I guess that was a long time ago now. Let's see. I think that was the very end of 2015. So maybe about 2.5 years or so. I don't know exactly how many we've sold, but it's probably, if I had to guess, I'd probably say we've sold close to 20,000 units now. So we've sold a lot of these.
Wow. And what is the profit per unit on those?
The profit for these is about, with all the extra competition now, I think it's about like $4.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's especially considered we showed the whole world the product.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's, so yeah, you can go and check the whole case study. We share like all the numbers and everything else. All of the money we actually make from selling these, we donate to charity. So we donate to this charity called Pencils of Promise, and they build schools in underprivileged countries. So like every $35,000 you donate to them, they build a school. So we've done 2 schools so far, and they're building a school right now for us in Ghana, which is really neat too.
That's awesome. I know people that do charity work in Ghana, and they need all kinds of stuff like that. There's a lot of corruption going on, and school is definitely not on the forefront of like things that matter as far as their economy, like where they're putting their money.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it's so cool if you think about it, right? That like just from selling bamboo marshmallow sticks on Amazon, we've been able to like build multiple schools. Like, yeah, it's a a developing country, but still.
That's super cool. Have you been there to check it out?
No, we're gonna when this one's done, I'm gonna go there and do like a opening ceremony with them. They did like a little like plaque for us on the school and stuff.
Are you gonna take
really
the
cool.
team?
I'm only allowed to bring one other person, so
Okay.
I know I really want to bring my wife, but we also really
Makes
wanted
sense.
to film it. So I need to ask to see maybe if we can bring a third.
Sorry, babe. I had to bring the camera, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk
So
to her about
I
that.
saw that I was cruising on your Instagram, and I saw you took your team to Mexico, check out some pyramids.
Yeah, we've so at Jungle Scout we do twice a year. We call it Jungle Camp, so it's like a team offsite. So Mexico was actually that was 3 trips ago now. We went to Mexico, and then after that we went to Budapest, and then after that we went to Bangkok. So yeah, just like twice a year, we all do a team offsite for like 10 days and get to check out a cool city and hang out and plan for the next 6 months and stuff.
That's awesome. It's huge for the building the team morale, team bonding, strengthening the relationships.
Yeah, totally. Because like half of our company works remote. So without doing jungle camps, like it's really hard to get to like know these people in real life and get to, meet them. And a lot of like our best ideas and like a lot of our, yeah, just like a lot of the cool stuff we do now is kind of like born out of jungle camp as well. So it's like really good for the business as well.
How many employees do you have?
The team's about 60 people now.
And how many are local? You just moved recently, right?
Yeah, so I'm in Austin right now. Like behind me is our Austin office. There's about 15 people in Austin, about 15 people in Vancouver, and then about 30 people who work remote.
Oh, are you Canadian?
No, I just one of the first developers I hired for Jungle Scout was from Vancouver. We hired a few more people like through his network to join our dev team, and yeah, before you know it, we have a bunch of people in Vancouver.
It worked, dude. Referral game is the best. Like,
For
I don't
sure.
know how it works for you, but for me, from my experience, from hiring like local employees to work with me, and especially VAs, like I'll hire a designer, I'll go through 7 designers before I found a good designer. And then I got smart and I started asking my designer for referrals. Cause I'm like, okay, if your work is good, like you're not going to refer me to someone who's like has bad work and bad work ethic, you know? So it's like
Right.
you can guilt your employees into making great hiring recommendations.
Yeah, and then they were kind of like putting their like reputation on the line a little bit by recommending people too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And
you
I guess
usually get
kind
like
of
really good
you're
referrals.
you're kind of like adding value to your employee by giving them the opportunity to give someone else an opportunity,
Yeah, totally.
which is really cool. Let's go into a little bit, talk about like tactical stuff for private label. Um, what do you do when you want to launch a product? Like, what's your go-to?
Yeah, good question. So after I found my product, um, you have to do the whole listing creation thing. That's relatively easy. The big thing there is just keyword research. As far as launching it, this is a little bit of an art or yeah, a science actually. But what where I see a lot of people kind of go wrong is like they find a great product and legitimately is a good product. They found a good manufacturer, everything else, and then they put it up on Amazon and they expect like if you build it, they will come. And unfortunately, that's not the case. Um, when you first launch a product on Amazon, it's lost on like page 1000 until you start getting sales. So we talked about this ranking on Amazon a little bit earlier, but take into account, is like sales velocity, your conversion rate, what leads to your conversion rate, is like the number of reviews you have. So it's kind of like a little bit of a chicken and the egg problem, right? Before before you get sales, you won't rank well. And without ranking well organically, you probably won't get sales. So what do? I do 2 things. One, I bid through the Amazon PPC program. I do so pretty aggressively. So, I'll set bids higher where I might be losing money on those sales, but I don't care at that point because I'm just trying to make sales so I start ranking well. So that's one thing I do. The other thing I do are coupon promotions. So we actually have another site called JumpSend, which is a deal site. On JumpSend, you can give coupons to like bargain hunters, to shoppers. Okay. And how it works is then they'll go then use that coupon on Amazon to purchase your product. So let's say like, hey, I just launched this remote control. I'm going to give, I just put this up on Amazon. I don't have any sales yet. I would, do PPC to bid on all these terms, and then I would give away coupons on JumpSend. So I'd, create like 50 coupons through Amazon. I'd put those 50 coupons on JumpSend, and then shoppers would request, I can't talk anymore. Shoppers would request those coupons, and you can approve however many you want. So you can say like, today I want to give away 10 coupons. Tomorrow I want to give away 12 coupons, whatever. And then after they redeem those coupons on Amazon and make those purchases, then as a result, you'll start ranking well.
So do you have any is it totally different compared to what your product is and your competition is as far as how many units you need to sell to get to the like how does that work? Like is that something you can find out easily how many units you'll need to sell to get over however X period to get to, you know, ranking on the first page or even to be the number one search result for a certain keyword?
Yeah, great question. Um, the a great rule of thumb for that is you need to sell however many units the person selling where you want to be ranked. So if you want to be like in the top 5 spots, let's say for that shrink wrap, I think at spot number 4 and number 5, we're selling like 3 to 500 units per month, which is about 10 to 15 units per day. So that means I need to be selling probably about 10 to 15 units per day to rank in like that number 4 and number 5 spot. So that means I might give away like 10 coupons plus bid really aggressively on PPC. And between the two of those, I'll probably make like 10 to 15 sales per day. And so I'll probably have to do that for like
10 coupons per day plus PPC.
yes. If I'm
And
trying to make like that 10
would
to 15
these generally through jump send, do you have to is it 100% discount or how does that work?
you can offer any discount you want. Depending on the product, it depends on how much discount you have to offer. So if it's like a really awesome product, let's say I'm not very creative. So I'm looking at the room trying to think of product ideas. If it's like a stand-up desk that's normally like $300, you could probably offer that like 30% discount, like $100 discount, and a bunch of people would probably ask for that coupon. If you're selling like an iPhone case for like typically $10, then you'll probably have to offer that like 90% off because like people don't really care about like a free, iPhone case or whatever
Yeah,
else.
like well, that's like that's a category where people actually want to get a good one for the
Yeah,
most part,
exactly.
right? You want to get like a spec case or an OtterBox
Right.
or
So it
whatever.
really depends on like what the product is. So you can offer whatever. And what I always tell people is like, you can just start with like 50% off or 70% off or something like that. And if you don't get enough coupon requests, then you'll have to offer a deeper discount. Cause like there's over 100,000 shoppers on there. Actually, I think now it's probably closer to 200,000 like
Right.
viewing this website like every week. Right. So like if those 200,000 people aren't requesting your coupon, then like you're not offering a very good deal.
And what is the service cost for private label sellers to use?
It's only $30 a month. So, you could do a giveaway for a few weeks, just pay $30 and that's it. And you can give away as many coupons as you want.
And it just manages the creation and distribution of the coupon codes, or do you still have to create them on Seller Central and put them into Jump Send?
You still have to create them on Seller Central, but it does some things like protect your inventory so they can't purchase too many. It manages all the distribution. That's like the marketplace where all the shoppers are hanging out to look for the coupons.
So it helps you, like, do you have instructions to help people so they don't create a coupon code that can be used, by everyone? Or
Yeah, of course.
because you always hear those horror stories. They're like, help, I created a coupon code and I sold everything. Like,
And not only do we help them create the correct coupon code, but then we also, before we let them give out a coupon, we check to make sure that it was created properly, so that doesn't happen.
with actual human.
Yeah, well, yeah, we developed a way to to kind of automate it, but
Okay.
before we let you give out your coupon, we verify that everything's been set up correctly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, let's get into some more tactical stuff. How much money would you recommend someone have before they decide to do a private label product?
So, there's like a lot of like success stories about people starting off with like $100 or $500 or whatever else. But in my opinion, it's pretty tough to do with less than $2,000. I've like run a few different scenarios and everything else. And if you don't have like $2,000 to invest in it, then I would probably recommend doing some either like the consulting you were talking about or retail arbitrage or whatever else and kind of save up that money. Because if you have like a couple $1,000, like $2,000 to spend, it's just going to be a lot easier because you're going to have more money to order more inventory. And then you can do more giveaways, and then you'll rank better and you'll have money for the restock and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, because what are some of the different things you're going to need money to do besides, of course, just buying the product?
You're going to have to get photography done. So, I mean, you can DIY that if you want. Like a lot of people can take pretty good photos with just some good lighting and like an iPhone. But a lot of people also pay for that.
Do you recommend, like, do you outsource your photography?
I do. But I'm probably not also like as budget conscious as what someone
Right,
just getting
right,
started would be.
right. A decent camera and some good lights and a backdrop probably will do you all right.
Yeah, that will get you like pretty far, right? And you can always, purchase new ones down the road if you want. Um, so that's an option, or so that's an expense. But really, actually, the biggest expense is just going to be purchasing the inventory and then having enough money to reorder when you need to, because like you may have only sold through like a quarter of your inventory. And then you're like, crap, like it takes 6 weeks for them to create like another shipment. So like I need to reorder now, even though I've only sold, 100 out of the first 400 units. But really the biggest thing is just the inventory is what costs the most.
So yeah, for sure. And your first shipment is, like you said, if you're gonna have to do giveaways, you're gonna have to run a lot of PPC, and then you're gonna have to order your second shipment before you've recouped off your first shipment, and then maybe by the time you have to make your third shipment, you've sold your first shipment, something like that.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
so what is it like? Shipment 3 is where you start really making money, or shipment 4?
Yeah, I'd say shipment 3 is when you can start becoming like cash flow positive.
Right. And so that's why you hear, like, I know a lot of really successful private label products, private label sellers, and they're like, yeah, I'm inventory rich. I'm cash broke. I'm inventory rich.
Yeah, because I guess that's the thing. Like, if you really want to scale up, right? You want to launch more products and more products, but it's cash intensive to be ordering inventory. I mean, that's how like the physical products game works. But yeah, at the same time, like it can be very profitable, right?
Yeah, for sure. Is there any like 5 tips that you think would stand out to help new private label sellers from losing money or help them make the best decisions? Like simple stuff, like don't do this, don't do that. Like obviously that's a good tip right there. Have around $2,000 before you decide to actually do it. But I'm just curious in your experience, if your brother was just like, "Hey, Greg, I'm finally gonna, I believe you. I'm getting into private label. What are the 5 tips that you would give him to help him be more successful?"
Yeah. My little brother just started selling private label products about a year ago, so this is easier for me to think of the same advice I gave him. The biggest problems that I see people make is actually the 2 biggest ones are either going into a niche that doesn't have any demand on Amazon, or going into a niche that's way too competitive. So it's too often that I hear people say like, "Oh, I'm going to sell this product on Amazon because my friend was looking for it and he couldn't find it on Amazon. So like, I'm sure other people are looking for it too." And it's like, well, that's probably actually not the case. What's way safer is just to sell what people are already buying on Amazon. So, like we can search and we could see that, in that there's like 10,000 units of shrink wrap being sold every month on Amazon. So like that shows us that there is existing demand on Amazon for shrink wrap, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big one. The best way to gauge competition is how many competitors you have and how many reviews they have. So I like to use the rule of thumb, like in the top 10 spots, I like to see at least 3 or 4 people with less than 50 reviews. And what that shows me is those are like relatively like young listings. So it's not like a very mature niche, and therefore it's easier for me to get in. I also like to have some way to like differentiate my product versus the competitors. So with the shrink wrap, that's as simple as like correctly labeling that there's 1,500 feet per roll or 500 feet per roll or like whatever else. Other things are, my marshmallow sticks. Like the guy before me, he was only selling 18-inch marshmallow sticks. I sold 3-foot, like 36-inch marshmallow sticks, right? So these are like relatively simple improvements, but they make a big difference in their way to like differentiate yourself from the competition. So I'd say that's a big one. I wouldn't say this is a big one, but I'd say it's an important one. And that's that you don't want to sell anything that has potential legal issues. So these would be like items that are patented. You don't want to sell anything that's patented. And I also recommend or strongly recommend that you don't sell anything that's supposed to be licensed. So like a lot of people don't realize, or some people don't realize that like you can't sell a product that has like Mickey Mouse on it like without
Right.
legal
Yeah.
license.
A lot of people, they go, okay, I know how to do this, and they start doing a product search on Alibaba or DHgate or whatever, and then they see, Mickey Mouse cups, and they're like, oh, I can order these. That's bootleg.
Yeah. So like a factory in China, they don't care. Like they'll sell you like a t-shirt with Mickey Mouse on it, right? Because like it's not like against their laws. Or uh same thing, like I saw someone try to do, they were like a type of cup. So, it'd be like if I did a coffee mug with like a New England Patriots like a logo on it. Like you can't do
Right.
that either without licensing it. So though that doesn't happen to a lot of people, but I want you to be very mindful of that because that could that's a major screw up if you do those. So I'd say those are like a few, those are a few of like the biggest tips I think for people.
Awesome. So one, like you were just talking about reviews and saying like a company that had like 50 reviews on a product was a young product. What are some of the best ways to get reviews, or how do you get reviews? How important are reviews? Because I've heard some different creative strategies, and I'm just curious to hear what the man himself does.
Yeah. So to start, everything I do with reviews is completely 100% white hat. So like I know people do like shady stuff, but Amazon is very strict about this and they're very smart. Like they're not dumb. Like they definitely have a team of people whose sole job is to like prevent fraudulent reviews on Amazon. So like I know they like put like spies like in the Facebook groups of people asking, like who will review my product for money or like whatever else. So I think that's like a quick way to get your account suspended forever by trying to do something like that. So what I do for review to help me get reviews the legal way, the best thing you can do is send a email follow-up sequence. So everyone who purchases your product, you send them an email asking for them to leave a review. That alone will like 2 or 3x the number of reviews that you get. So that's a big one. The Another thing that I do on some of my products, it doesn't work that well, but it does increase it a little bit, is like a product insert asking people to leave reviews. So I can say like, just say in there like, hey, if you enjoyed the product, we'd love a review on Amazon.com. The other thing you can do with a product insert is try to capture their email address, like enter at jungle6.com for your warranty. And then once I get their email, then I can send them another email like that way for them to leave a review as well. So those are like a few of the white hat ways to increase the number of reviews that you get.
So you just made me think of something. So with the insert on the packaging, which is like pretty standard, like if you buy a Samsung TV, it comes with a bunch of inserts inside of it, and they're sending you to their website and sign up for their warranty and who knows what else. But do you use that for other marketing efforts outside of Amazon? Do you use Facebook ads or anything else to market your Amazon products? Or are you selling, for example, jungle sticks on a website outside of Amazon? Do you do Shopify, or are you like 100% Amazon? Because I know that, yes, Amazon has rules, but once you're talking to the customer outside of Amazon, those rules don't really apply anymore, correct?
Correct. So to answer your first question, I've tried a lot of ways of selling my products outside of Amazon. I've never found any of them to be cost effective or worth my time. So what I mean by that is like, can you build your own e-commerce like Shopify store, right? And like do well with it? Like, yes, you can. Like there's a million success stories of that, right? So it's definitely doable. But like for me personally, when I think about like how much time I was investing in that and everything else that I had to do, I was like, and still wasn't getting that many sales. I'm like, by now, like if I spent the same amount of mental energy just launching products on Amazon, like I would have made like 100 times more money. So it's like, why am I spending time like putting together this whole Shopify site and trying to drive traffic to it and creating content around it and all this kind of stuff where I could have just been launching more products on Amazon. So that's been my experience with it. We've tried to do Facebook ads and we've tried to do all this, like Google AdWords, Instagram ads, all this stuff for selling my products. But same thing, like very rarely have we've been able to make them profitable. And when we do, it's like, that just isn't worth the time of doing my other products. So that's my
So
opinion
not,
around it.
are you pixeling your customers at all, like somehow into Facebook and then retargeting them with ads to grow, to make more Amazon sales, or maybe even to get reviews?
I tried a whole bunch of different stuff. Another thing you could do is like you can download a customer list out of Amazon and create a lookalike audience inside of Facebook and then try to market to that group. If you're sending them to like the warranty registration page, of course you can cookie them there and then show them different Facebook ads or, AdWords or even like YouTube ads or something. So we've tried like multiple different ways of doing that.
But mostly not as successful as just using PPC on Amazon, or?
Correct. Like, we have been able to make some of them profitable, but like if you have to, if you spend like your first $1,000 trying to figure out how to even make it profitable in the first place, and then it still like takes time, and then, different ads get kind of burnt out and you have to create new ones. And it's like, we're just wasting a lot of time on this when like we could just devote that same like brain power and cash into just launching more products on Amazon and do way better with it.
Right. Yeah. One thing I learned from a private label seller recently, they were telling me that they download their customer list off of Amazon and they use a third-party service. I forget the name. And this service takes their list and appends it with the information that you don't have. It gives you the Facebook of the customers and their email address, and I think their phone number. And then you can retarget them on Facebook and say, hey, we saw you purchased our product. Why don't you come leave a review and we'll give you a 50% off code for another unit, something like that.
Yeah. So all of that would be like white hat. You could do all of that except for at the end, that is an incentivized review because you're going to give them a coupon if they do leave a review.
Right. So that's actually against the rules.
That's correct. So
but people are getting away with it because it's not on Amazon. So it's like seen as less risky, I guess.
Yeah, I would say less risky, but still that's the type of thing that Amazon's really strict on. And they're very smart. So I wouldn't recommend anyone do that. But you can just show them ads and just say like, hey, I hope you're enjoying the product. Click here to leave a review or whatever else. And like that part would be fine. So you can ask them to leave a review. You just can't incentivize them to do so. So incentivizing them is anything from paying them to giving them a coupon to giving them a free ebook to, whatever, like anything to incentivize them to leave reviews against the terms of service.
Right. Yeah. Definitely don't want to do that, guys. Here at Reezy Resells, we do not advise people to break the rules. You can bend them lightly. Everybody does that, but don't break the rules. That's not a good idea. So what are the costs on the Jungle Scout extension and the web service? Someone was asking in the chat.
Yeah, good question. Let me actually just share my screen again because I know it's kind of confusing because we have there's two different products called Jungle Scout. Let me pull this up.
Are you using a TV for a screen?
Yeah. How'd you know?
I can see it in the reflection of the background. It's large.
Nice. Yeah, I have we have a little studio thing in here to record on, and yeah, there's a so I'm looking at my camera. Right behind my camera is like the TV. That way, like when I'm watching you, it looks like I'm looking into the camera.
Nice.
Yeah. So if we scroll down to the pricing table, all right. So this is the web app. So remember, I know this is always confusing for people, but the web app is this. It's like the product tracker, the product database, the niche hunter, and
soon to be the keyword tool.
Yep. Soon to be keyword scout. So you can get access to that. If you want to pay month by month, I would click on this one. And the pricing is $39 to $99 per month. So with $39, you'll get everything except the niche hunter. And you can track 40 products instead of 80 or 150. So that's the web app. All right.
And what's the annual billing on that?
The annual billing is significantly cheaper. So it works out to be $29 a month to $69 a month. But you pay annually. So $29 per month times 12 is like $340 or something. And you get to keep that for a year. So it's equivalent to like, I think around 30% off or maybe a little more. And then the Chrome extension. So just as a quick refresher, this is the Chrome extension. It runs on Amazon.com. When I click it, I see this little pop-up with all this data inside of it. I'm using the Pro version, which is $200. But then there is the light version for $100, but it doesn't have some of these items in it. So yeah.
Nice. And so if you guys did want to sign up for Jungle Scout, there is a link below that you can sign up for. That is my affiliate link. I do get a small commission if you sign up for that, but it doesn't cost you anything. And best of all, it's a discounted rate for you because you joined us here in this video, and we appreciate that. Anything else that you want to cover, Greg, that we didn't talk about?
Man, we covered a lot. I guess maybe some parting words that I'll leave people with is, I guess like I think I remember myself in the shoes of probably what a lot of like the people watching this right now are. Cause like back when I was like working, like in corporate America and I had the job and like I just wanted out of it, I always remember like watching stuff like this or like whatever else. And the people I watch, I'm like, man, I would like to be like that, but I can't because of this or that or whatever else. And I'll give myself all these excuses, right? Like,
oh yeah,
I would be an Amazon seller. I would be like that person, but this or that, whatever else. And then I would always hear people say it's like a mental game and they're all just mental blocks, but it was like hard for me to really understand that because it's like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, I don't really believe in all that. But then like, I totally get it now. Like once you're kind of like on the other side and like you've had some success with it and you've kind of created the life that you want for yourself, it's really easy to look back and see that it really is just like mental blocks, right? So I guess my advice, my parting words for you guys is just to like understand that, like realize that, and just know that, like the only thing holding you back from getting to, whatever, $500,000 a month in sales and like being able to achieve this life of like financial and also time freedom from it is just like all these little steps along the way. And the majority of them are just mental blocks. So don't get hung up on like the little things that can bog you down. Don't get discouraged when you hit little roadblocks along the way, because everyone does. Just like keep pushing along and, like the sky's the limit for the amount of success you can have. So
awesome. Yeah, I'm a firm believer of that too. Like, don't get overwhelmed. Just try to focus. If you can only do one thing a day, like do one thing. Like
totally.
Next day, do one. Now you did two things. You know what I mean? And they just keep stacking and keep, brick by brick. That was kind of motivating. Definitely motivating, actually. Do you look to anybody for motivation? Like, I know a lot of people don't consume any motivation stuff at all. And to me, that kind of seems weird because I think as humans, we all have like our ups and our downs. And, like sometimes you might need like to hear Gary Vee yell at you, or, some people like Tony Robbins, but like I always recommend to people to listen to motivational speakers. Tactical stuff is always good, but sometimes you just need to hear motivation. And so I'm curious if you listen to any motivational people and that you could recommend to the audience.
I don't do, I guess like this past year, I haven't found myself doing as much of it as like what I did in the past. But like, I'll go in like little like sprees, like where I'll like binge watch or binge read a bunch of like Tony Robbins stuff. And then like go back to like more tactical stuff, So no one jumps to the top of my mind that I recommend for people to read or to listen to, but I do totally agree with you that it is great to have a good balance or a good mixture of like motivational stuff and kind of like tactical stuff.
Right. Yeah. Because as entrepreneurs, not all your friends are going to be entrepreneurs, or maybe even your parents. My uncle stayed with me for a week and he was like, we're drinking beers and I'm on my laptop and he's like, don't you ever take a break? And I'm like, I am taking a break right now. I'm drinking a beer with you. And he's like, well, you're still working on your laptop. And I'm like, in my head, all I'm thinking is like, I'm not sweating. Like, I don't have a shovel in my hand. Like,
right.
I'm just tapping away.
For fun, probably, right?
Yeah. It's like not a big deal, right? Is there any books or podcasts that you recommend to people? Like if you're an avid reader or you listen to podcasts?
One of my favorite books that I recently reread is called Rework by Jason Fried. So I'd recommend that one. Since you're asking for a podcast, the entrepreneur inside of me can't help but to take the opportunity to pitch my own new podcast.
Go for it, bro.
It's called Go Pitch Win. It's a Shark Tank style podcast where each season 12 contestants pitch their business ideas to myself and a guest judge. And at the end of the first season, We gave away a $10,000 gift to someone to start their business. And actually, season 2, we're doing $100,000. So whoever selected, it's free to enter. You can enter at gopitchwin.com. Whoever enters, you have an opportunity to pitch your business idea to myself and a panel of guest judges this time. And then, I'm giving $100,000 to whoever wins it.
How's it going? First season went well?
First season went well. We just finished recording a couple weeks ago, and all the episodes haven't been released yet, but they've all been recorded, and it went well. So I'm not going to tell you who won it yet because you're going to have to follow along.
Is it just audio, or are you doing video as well?
We're doing video as well.
Awesome. That sounds super fun, man.
Yeah, so it's cool. So yeah, of course, my own podcast, but some other ones I've been listening to Tropical MBA for a long time. It's from Dan and Ian. I think
Tropical what MBA?
Yeah, like the degree, Tropical MBA. It resonated with me really well because they talk a lot about doing like the nomad thing and being, having like this location freedom. So talk a lot about like location independent entrepreneurship. So yeah, that resonated with me real well since like I'd traveled the world for 3 years while I was doing it. So yeah, that's another good one I recommend.
Awesome. Who do you have in the chat right now help running the chat? One of your employees?
Yeah, I think there was 2 people that were going to do it, maybe switch off, or maybe they're both in there. But yeah, Liz and Amelia. So shout out to them. Thanks for helping.
Shout out to Liz and Amelia. They've been in there pretty hardcore. Appreciate that. If you could send me those links, Liz and Amelia, or that link to the podcast, I'll make sure to get the link to the podcast in the description down here.
Sweet.
Sounds like you're pretty excited about it and somewhere we can drive some traffic too. So if you guys are listening to this or watching this, go check out the podcast. The link will be in the show notes, or search it up in the iTunes app. Subscribe if you like it, which by the sound of Greg's excitement, is probably pretty awesome. So leave him a 5-star review. If you don't like it, maybe just keep that to yourself.
Good looking out.
yeah, no worries, dude. I'm gonna listen to it myself. I love that kind of stuff. Especially, it gets me more excited to be like, okay, this is like a Shark Tank thing, but Greg's just a regular dude. I mean, you've had some success, obviously, but it's like, that's the world we live in, where like you can make Shark Tank. You don't have to wait on anybody. Do you have a room in an office and you got some people and you got, you're good to go. Like, just film it and drop it in there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Definitely. So we have a saying we say around here, which I doubt that but it's if you ain't flipping, you slipping. And that's the last thing we say in the end. One more time, sorry.
What's it?
Greg, do you know what the outro is around here?
If you ain't flipping, you slipping.
Yes. Thank you, Greg. Thanks to everybody that watched and hang out with us for the last, hour and 40 minutes. It went by really fast. If you guys have any questions about the Jungle Scout software, shoot the team an email, or where are you guys most active on?
Yeah, we're active on everything. But yeah, shoot us an email, just like hello@junglescout.com.
Yeah,
you can find us also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, they have a ton of useful videos on YouTube as far as using the software. Are those accessible through the website as well?
Yeah, totally. So you can go to the website, junglescout.com, check under the free resources. The case studies are there, just a bunch of free information, everything. So
nice. And if you want to stalk Greg's personal Instagram, that is G_Mercer. On Instagram. So I'll put that down there as well. He could use some love on his Instagram. I don't know what he's trying to do with his personal Instagram, but let's blow it up.
I haven't done much with it, so you're right. I could use some love with it. I guess I should start posting more regularly would be the first step.
Yeah, well, if you're traveling, that's perfect content, right? And I think a lot of people like to know, the face behind the brand, and it's not just a company offering a service. You're also a seller. You've been through the same things that other people do, and now look that I'm here, and I have time freedom and I have some location independence. I'm able to do this, or take my team to Mexico or whatever. Which I saw that photo and I was like, man, this guy's a good dude. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, Greg. I'll see you on the next one, buddy.
Sounds good. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.